I was so proud of my Reddit post getting an award. Then my wife laughed at me in front of the kids. I never expected something so small to turn into the biggest fight of our marriage. I didn't think a silly Reddit award would cause this, but here we are. Okay, I'll admit it. This might sound dumb. It's not a big thing, but it's been eating at me, and I can't shake it. Maybe I'm too sensitive, but I can't stop replaying this moment in my head. So here's what happened. I'm a dad, 38 mem. And like a lot of parents, I sometimes feel like the small wins in life go unnoticed. Parenting is a full-time job that no one hands out gold stars for. No great work stickers for calming a meltdown in Target or untangling a toy car from the dog's tail. It's just what we do. Anyway, I've been lurking on Reddit for years. I'm not one of those super active people, but once in a while, I'll share something funny or relatable, especially in parenting subs. A few days ago, I posted a quick story about one of those wild, chaotic moments with my kids. You know, the kind of mess where you either laugh or cry because it's that ridiculous. I wasn't expecting much, but people got it. They laughed. They shared similar experiences. Someone even gave the post an award. I know, it's Reddit, small potatoes, but man, it felt good. Like, hey, other people see what I go through, and they think it's funny too. For once, instead of feeling invisible, it felt like people were cheering me on. So that night, still feeling a little proud, I brought it up to my wife, 36F. I thought it'd be one of those quick, hey, this silly thing happened conversations, like sharing a random compliment someone gave you. I said, hey, one of my Reddit posts got an award today. People thought it was hilarious. Her response caught me way off guard. She smirked, didn't even look up, and said, wow, you're really making it big now, huh? In this sharp, sarcastic tone. I tried to laugh it off at first. I mean, yeah, it's Reddit, not the Pulitzer Prize, but her comment hit me harder than I thought it would. It wasn't just a joke. It felt like she was making fun of me for being happy about something so small. It sat in my chest like a rock. Later, I brought it up, probably against my better judgment. I said, hey, I know it's silly, but it kind of sucked that you couldn't at least pretend to be happy for me. She looked at me like I'd grown a second head. It's Reddit. Why do you even care what random strangers think? I tried to explain. It's not about strangers. It's about connection. It's like when someone posts a funny story on Facebook or Instagram and people respond with, that's so relatable, or same here. That little moment of validation. It feels good. I said, it's no different than sharing something funny anywhere else. And then she hit me with this. Maybe you should focus more on getting validation from me and the kids instead of strangers online. Oof! That stung. I looked at her and said, that's not fair. Would you say the same thing if I were into painting or running? If I posted a photo of a painting I worked on and people said they loved it, would that be pointless too? She just rolled her eyes and said I was overthinking it. Like the whole thing was nothing. But it didn't feel like nothing to me. Now things are tense. And I don't know if I'm overreacting or if she was just unnecessarily dismissive. It wasn't like I expected her to throw me a parade. I just wanted her to see why it made me happy, even if it's small. So, here I am. Sitting with this little mix of pride and hurt, wondering, am I being ridiculous? Should I just let this go? Update 1. So, I guess I didn't let it go. I tried, I really did, but this whole thing kept bothering me more than I expected. I've been replaying that conversation over and over in my head, and the more I thought about it, the more frustrated I became. It wasn't just the sarcastic comment, it was the way she dismissed something that meant a lot to me. I mean, this whole Reddit award thing wasn't a big deal to anyone else, but it was to me. It felt like a tiny moment of validation, like someone seeing the hard work we put into being parents, even if it was just strangers on the internet. The more I thought about it, the more it felt like she just didn't get it. I decided to bring it up again. I don't know why I thought this time would be different, but I wanted her to understand where I was coming from. I didn't want to be petty. but I was getting tired of feeling like I couldn't even be proud of something small without her making me feel stupid. So I casually mentioned, "Hey, I've been thinking about our conversation the other night." She didn't seem to think anything was wrong at first, just gave me a little nod and went back to doing whatever she was doing. I said, "It kind of felt like you were belittling something that made me happy, and that sucked." I didn't expect a huge reaction, but I also didn't expect her to brush it off again. She gave me that look, the one that says, "You're overreacting," and said, "You're still on about this?" She looked genuinely confused. It felt like she was treating me like I was the one being unreasonable for feeling hurt. I didn't know what to say. It's not like I was asking for her to act like it was a life-changing event, but it would have been nice if she could have acknowledged why it mattered to me, even just a little. I tried to explain again. It's not about the award. It's about the fact that something I did made people laugh, made people appreciate what I shared. It's about feeling seen, even in a small way. I guess I was hoping she'd understand the emotional side of it. Parenting can feel like a thankless job sometimes, and when something like this happens, something that makes me feel like I'm doing a good job, even if it's just making someone laugh, it's a nice boost. But nope, she still didn't get it. "It's Reddit," she said again. "Who cares about random strangers online? What about the people who matter? Me, the kids." Now, I'll admit, hearing her say that stung. I understand what she meant. Validation from family is important, but it didn't seem like she was taking me seriously. It felt like she was saying, "Why are you letting some anonymous people on the internet make you feel good?" Like I shouldn't be seeking anything beyond what's immediately around me. I'm not saying I don't care about her opinion, but it was hurtful that she couldn't see how something so simple could lift my spirits. I decided to dig a little deeper. What if I was doing something like painting or running or writing? What if I shared something that was my thing, something I worked on and felt proud of? Would it still feel like nothing? Would you still dismiss it as meaningless? She didn't really respond at first, just kind of stared at me. Then she sighed and said, "You're really overthinking this. It's just a Reddit post." She didn't get it, not at all. The way she said it made me feel like I was being childish. And yeah, maybe I was putting too much importance on something so trivial, but it was about more than the post itself. It was about validation, about feeling like something I did mattered to other people, even if they were strangers. I'm not saying I expect her to throw me a parade or shower me with praise for something so small, but it's like I just wanted her to see why it meant something to me. Instead, she kept making me feel like I was being ridiculous for feeling anything about it. It wasn't even about the post itself. It was about the way she seemed to completely dismiss my feelings. The more I thought about it, the more it felt like she didn't care to see things from my perspective. It was frustrating, and I couldn't let it go. I started questioning if I was being too sensitive, or if I really was just overthinking everything. Maybe it was silly to get upset over a Reddit post, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized it wasn't just about the post. It was about how she responded to me. I decided to give her some space to think about it. I didn't want to push too hard, but I couldn't stop feeling the way I did. I wanted her to understand why this mattered to me, but it seemed like the more I tried to explain, the more she dug in her heels. So here I am, still trying to make sense of everything. I know it might sound trivial to some people, but I just feel like it wasn't the kind of support I was hoping for. Maybe I am overreacting, but I think it was more about the way she shut me down. I just wanted her to acknowledge that something small made me feel good, and that felt like too much to ask. We haven't really talked much about it since. Things have been kind of tense, and I don't know where we stand now. Maybe I should just drop it. But I keep wondering if there's something I'm missing, something I didn't understand. Was I wrong to expect more from her? Or am I making a big deal out of something that doesn't matter? Anyway, that's where we're at. I'll update again if anything changes, but for now, it feels like I'm stuck in this weird limbo, still trying to figure out what this all means. Update 2. So here we are. I didn't expect to come back with another update, But after everything that's happened, I feel like it's worth sharing where we ended up. The tension didn't go away, but eventually, I think we reached some kind of understanding, though not exactly in the way I expected. I wasn't sure if I'd hear from some of you saying I was just overreacting, or if I was justified in my feelings, but reading your comments really helped me reflect. A few days after my last update, I decided to bring it up one more time. I know, I said I'd drop it, but it was bugging me too much, and honestly, I wanted to clear the air. If we were going to keep having these small, unresolved issues, I knew it'd only get worse. I wasn't expecting a big emotional breakthrough, but I did want her to hear me out. I approached her when we were alone, no distractions, no kids around. I started by saying, "I've been thinking a lot about what happened. I know it seems silly, but I really need you to understand why that Reddit post thing hurt me." She didn't get defensive this time. She just looked at me and listened, which felt different. I explained, "It wasn't just about the post or the award, it's about feeling validated, like I'm not invisible in this parenting thing. I don't get a lot of recognition, and when I saw that people were laughing, it felt like a small win, something to be proud of." She was quiet for a while, and I could tell she was really thinking about it. Then she said something I didn't expect. "I get it now. I didn't realize how much something so small could mean to you. I thought it was just a silly internet thing, but I see it's bigger than that." It was nice to hear. I didn't expect her to apologize, but she did, in her own way. She said, "I'm sorry for being dismissive. I guess I just didn't see it the way you did, but that's on me. I should have been more supportive." Honestly, I didn't expect this kind of resolution. I figured she'd still brush it off or think I was being dramatic, but instead she was genuinely apologetic. She even said that she'd try to be more mindful of my feelings in the future, especially when it comes to things I'm proud of, no matter how small they seem. After that, things felt lighter. The weird tension lifted, and we've been communicating a lot more openly since then. It wasn't about Reddit anymore. It was about being seen, understood, and supported, even in the little things. So, to everyone who told me I was overthinking or making too much out of a Reddit post, I hear you. Maybe I did make it a bigger deal than it should have been, but sometimes, when you feel like you're doing everything for everyone else, something as small as an internet comment can feel like a glimmer of recognition. And when that glimmer gets dismissed by the person you expect to be your biggest supporter, it can sting more than you'd think. But all in all, I'm glad I spoke up. Even though it was awkward and uncomfortable, it helped us understand each other better. I can't say we're perfect, but we're getting there. And I think that's what matters. Thanks again for all the support, advice, and kind words. You guys helped me put things into perspective.